This video is about how some of the best players in the world have showcased skill and adapted already to the new Pokemon Go meta in the max out season. If you're looking for your average Go Battle League battles, then this is not the video for you. During the 2024 World Championships, a lot of changes were introduced to the new season. The switch timer would change from 60 to 50 seconds, and the moveset update was so significant that almost every Pokemon of the current top 12 usage would be impacted. We all had time and fun trying out these changes, but a lot of eyes were on the next championship where actual prizes were at stake, the first regional championship of the 2025 season. A quick explanation for those who are unfamiliar with the championship series. This is a series of double elimination tournaments in the Open Great League meta. This is a show 6 bring 3 format with open team sheets. That means that competitors bring 6 Pokemon to the tournament, of which they can bring 3 into every battle they play. Your team, along with their moveset and CP, will be on a team sheet, and you exchange that team sheet with your opponent there. The regional championships are hosted all over the world. Competitors can win cash prizes, booster packs, and championship points. The championship points are needed to qualify for the World Championships held at the end of the season. As a World finalist, I can say that this can get pretty lucrative if you're successful. I've added a link to the Play Pokemon website in the description if you'd like more information on this series. The first regional championship of 2025 took place in Baltimore in the United States. About 180 competitors signed up, and that's 50 more than the last time a tournament took place in Baltimore. Competitors were welcomed in the venue on Friday to pick up their badge and competitor kit, and then the competition started on Saturday. If you do well on Saturday, then you would continue to play on Sunday. Some of the battles will be streamed on the Pokemon Go broadcast. Pretty much every regional championship in Europe and North America has this. Now, the meta at Baltimore. In my opinion, the meta was quite open, besides Clodsire for Alligator. I've held some practice tournaments in my server to sketch an idea of what the meta would look like, and the meta in Baltimore was quite similar. Pokemon like Dunsparce, Azumarill, Mandibuzz, and Superior would be very common as well. Those are Pokemon that can hang on with both Clodsire and Feraligatr. The amount of Mudslappers was underwhelming, though Gastrodon had made it into the top 12 too. I think that the Talonflame usage was influenced by my practice tournaments as it was very successful there. The other big change is the switch clock. How will competitors deal with this change? Let's take a look at some of the highlights of day 1. Players are briefed at the start of the tournament. Each game has their own corner, and the competitors are assigned a table to play at. This is an exciting moment for the players and the viewers. They will see the pairings on the website, and in Pokemon Go, many players know each other well. The first match on stream is Out of Pocket versus Purple Kyogre, the first showcase of the new meta. Out of Pocket was the top finisher of North America at the World Championship, so it's exciting to see what he cooked up this time. Purple Kyogre, a content creator, is not taking any chances this tournament. His team is the meta. 5 out of 6 Pokemon on his team are in the top 12 usage. Is that a good or a bad sign? Out of Pocket, on the other hand, a whole different approach. He brought the goofy Shadow Quagsire, the Shadow Typhlosion, and Galarian Moltres. Both have different movesets on the Clodsire too. Out of Pocket has it around Sludge Bomb, while Purple Kyogre has Stone Edge on it. The offset is quite simple. Sludge Bomb, 50 energy, offers a lower cost energy attack and covers Azumarill and Grass-type Pokemon better. Stone Edge, 55 energy, on the other hand, can be crucial into matchups where the rock typing coverage is important, for example against Mandibuzz, Talonflame, and Dewgong. Out of Pocket shows us from the start that Clodsire is the #1 Pokemon for a reason. It can take a super effective Hydro Cannon from Shadow Feraligatr to the face and threaten it with a neutral Earthquake that will actually deal even more damage than the Hydro Cannon would to Clodsire. After 2 very close games, Out of Pocket has had enough of Feraligatr and shows why Superior is the grass type of choice instead of Jumpluff. He leads the Superior into the Dunsparce of the Purple Kyogre, which is a very positive matchup for the Grass Serpent. It almost comes out with another attack, leaving Purple Kyogre with nowhere to go for the Feraligatr. Pocket then shows us another piece of mastery. You'd think that the ground-type Clodsire defeats Typhlosion easily, but guess again. Out of Pocket showed us that he understands the strength of Clodsire, but also its weakness. Clodsire is relatively slow in getting to its charge attacks, and with a single Thunder Punch bait, Typhlosion is actually able to defeat the Clodsire in a 2-shield scenario. Pocket is close to the Frenzy plan with Superior, but decides to clean up the game with his favorite Pokemon, Quagsire.
What is the percent chance that Out of Pocket is back in day 2 tomorrow?
10 billion%!
The next matchup we look at is Lal Jeffs versus Crimson K19. This was a hype matchup between two awesome content creators who often stream on Twitch. Crimson K19 is well known for his, he says what he likes to say and think. And his opponent, Lal Jeffs, is a titan in North America who has won 2 regional championships so far. These are 2 teams that are quite different from the previous. Crimson has a Chestnut, Kudra, and Dugong, and Lal Jeffs has a Shadow Drapion, Umbreon, Diggersby, Talonflame, and Venusaur. These are all Pokemon that are on the low end of the top meta usage. Out of these Pokemon, I think Venusaur is the least viable. Its fragile nature makes it worse than Superior is into Clodsire and Feraligatr, though it may be good for taking on opposing Superior as well, and the Frenzy Plant damage from this Pokemon is no joke. We'll talk about Talonflame later. It is the Shadow Drapion that plays a crucial role in this tournament. It's the second match of the set we look at. Crimson has won the first game, and now Lal Jeffs has a difficult task to come back from this. He leads the Umbreon into Kudra. Kudra seems like a fantastic Pokemon in the meta, and it's only really fearing Azumarill and Alolan Sandslash. The problem for it though is that Azumarill is very common, and it's also a popular pairing with Alolan Sandslash. Furthermore, its charge attacks are weak in neutral matchups. Lao could win the Zero Shield scenario if he wants to, but he makes an incredibly high level play here. Realizing it could be Dugong in the back, which would be terrible if it has an energy advantage, he goes for a last resort on the Umbreon to deal a little bit more damage to the Gudra, and it allows his Shadow Drapion to farm down the Gudra. This is crucial. The Poison Sting damage buff deals more damage, and Crimson completely overlooks this. With this energy advantage, the Drapion completely pops off against the Dugong, and Crimson again overlooks how much damage the buffed Poison Sting does. It makes Drapion a rather formidable Poison type attacker without needing Sludge Bomb, especially in the Great League where Pokemon have less health than, for example, in the Ultra League. The Chestnut of Crimson comes in and has to deal with all the leftover energy from this Drapion. It's resisted, but it all adds up so much that the Diggersby from Lao is able to clean up the game. Lao ties up the score, and in the decisive Game 3, he manages to pull through again with the buffed Drapion. We saw Gudra, but there's another unique Pokemon that has caught my eye. We take a quick look at Murphy versus Evan. 2 players that don't mind using some off-meta Pokemon. That Lokix from Evan looks really cool and interesting, but unfortunately it won't have the justice in this video that it deserves. Maybe later. This is Murphy's first time on stream, and he brought Artabax. Artabax is the dragon not weak to ice. It generally runs Dragon Breath and Dragon Claw. The second charge stack of choice would be Ice Wind or Avalanche. The choice here is between debuffing the attack of the opponent or hitting extremely hard with the very efficient Avalanche. Murphy chooses for Ice Wind here, and it will prove to be useful. The match starts with an awkward lead. Superior loses the one shield scenario into Dugong, but Chestnut actually wins every even shield scenario. You would generally think that Murphy wants to take the Dugong out right here and right now, so it won't threaten the Diggersby, but he throws a superpower immediately instead, and then swaps into the Artabax. This is where Artabax shines from other dragons. The Ice typing is generally a bad defensive typing. It only provides Ice type resistance, but it proves to be useful here. It is not weak into the Dugong. Evan has the Toxapex in the back, but he needs that for the Chestnut. The Artabax is debuffed from the Ice Wind, but it's still wearing down the Dugong a lot. Evan swaps out, and he realizes this is not great. Now his Toxapex takes an Icy Wind, the timer is up, and with the Diggersby on the Toxapex, he no longer has his main answers left for the Chestnut. The battle gets extremely close in the endgame, but Murphy still has the Artabax. The Ice Charge from the Dugong chunk, but they're neutral, and Artabax pushes Murphy to day 2. Another Dragon type Pokemon I'd like to mention, but that we didn't see in Baltimore, was Dragonite. I think this Pokemon may make an impact at a championship. The best set of the day and tournament was, in my opinion, between House Stark and the Torian. This is in the lower bracket, which means that the loser of this match is out of the tournament. We'll go through one match again, but I'll put a timestamp in the description if you'd like to see more of it. In this matchup, the switch timer is the change we look at. The Torian has very spammy Pokemon. Counter has been nerfed, but Machamp also has access to the legacy attack Karate Chop. This generates energy very quickly and lets Machamp get to cross chops in 4 fast attacks. The same goes for House Stark. He has a Shadow Jump Love, and this is not the preferred grass type in general, but the flying type coverage provides extra coverage against fighting type Pokemon. It also can defeat Mandibuzz in the 2-shoot scenario. Jump Love is weaker against Dunsparce, Clodsire with Stone Edge, and is more prone to Ice Beams for Feraligatr and Azumarill. The Guzzlord is also a unique pick. Brutal Swing now costs as much energy as Dragon Claw while providing slightly more damage. Since Dragon Claw is hardly necessary in this meta, Guzzlord can run Sludge Bomb as coverage attack to hit grass types and Azumarill. All these spammy Pokemon set the stage for a lot of switches. The match we'll look at is decisive game number 3. The Thorian leads his Mandibuzz into the Dunsparce of House Stark. A rough lead for the Thorian, because Dunsparce is also decent against Feraligatr, as it double resists the Shadow Claws. Rock Slide was nerfed, but Rollout has been severely buffed, making this a positive matchup for Dunsparce. He initiates the first swap with an attempt to catch Rock Slide on his own Dunsparce, but the Thorian fails however, and this allows House Stark to throw the more efficient drill run. House Stark stays in and takes 2 more drill runs, but by now, the switch clock of the Thorian is over halfway up already. Dunsparce is a bulky Pokemon on both sides. House Stark comfortably takes another drill run, but the Thorian barely hangs on to the Earthquake of the Clodsire of House Stark that swapped in after. He can even store the attack for later, and this is going to be crucial. The Thorian swaps into the Feraligatr, onto the Clodsire as the timer's up again, which is in Hydro Cannon range after the drill run. Feraligatr is fragile, an Earthquake would almost knock it out, but it can take a Sludge Bomb, so the Thorian no shields. After the Clodsire has been knocked out by the Feraligatr, House Stark bangs on his final plan. All shields on Feraligatr, which is usually a pretty good strategy. He takes a resisted Hydro Cannon, which still does a lot of damage, and then swaps out to unleash the charge attacks from the Dunsparce. Mandibuzz is low, and it has to get a farm down, but House Stark is able to swap out again and Shadow Claw it down. But after all this switching, he totally forgot the Dunsparce from the Thorian still had a Duron. It knocks out the Feraligatr, and both Dunsparce have little HP, and they fade to 1 rollout, leading into a tie, or, well, it should. Unfortunately, Baltimore was pestered with 4 swap-in lag. It's a sensitive game error, as during the tournament and the making of this video, the status of this issue on the known issues page is resolved, but it clearly wasn't. Despite this, Baltimore had some insane battles on day 1 and the meta looked so good. Out of the players we saw earlier, House Stark, Out of Pocket and Murphy had made it to day 2.
Let's go! Yeah! Ah, hell yeah!
Yo, Murphy here. I'm really glad to be playing in day 2 of the Baltimore Regionals, first Regionals in the 2025 series. Playing on stream was really nerve-wracking the first time, but once I got that out of the way, the second time I went on felt really good. I was really comfortable and had a really fun time. The team I brought, I really wanted to be strong into Claude and Dunsparce, and then also bring a little bit of spice with the Shadow, Alolan Marowak. I didn't use it all that much, but when I did, it was really strong, and it made the team really fun to use and kind of scared off a little bit of the grass, which my team is weak to. So look forward to playing today and see you out there. One love.
But as we move further into the tournament and this video, it is also time to introduce you to the antagonists of this story. It is the European Tomahawk UK, with a very cool but bad Pangoro and this extremely bulky core of Toxapex and Diggersby. He snuck his way into the top 16 on the upper side of the bracket. He was looking to even the score between EU and NA after the American Nighttime Clasher had won the championship in Liverpool last season. This same Nighttime Clasher was also commentating the event, alongside Homeslice Henry, Lundberger and Speediest Chief.
Hi, Inadequents. This is Homeslice Henry, live from the floor here for day number 2, and I actually have a surprise guest here. We have Mr. Tomahawk UK. Although after today, we might have to call him Tomahawk USA with how well he's performing at this regional. What has been your favorite part of competing so far, Mr. Tomahawk?
Honestly, I've not dropped a game yet. I don't really want to drop a game, but I just want to show the world, show Martine especially, that Shiny Pangoro is the play.
I like it. I like it.
Martine, this is a quick video for you. So I've taken a flight straight after work on Friday to get to Baltimore. Landed Friday evening, competed Saturday. We're now into day 2, right? Henry, how are you feeling for day 2?
I'm feeling great. I'm so excited. The
new meta has shaped up better than I ever could have hoped. Mandibuzz is a fraud. Galar Moltres has a higher usage in day 2, and I couldn't be happier. I'm thrilled.
But we both know that the best start type at the moment is Pangoro, so I'm going to be using that this morning against Kelsey, which I think is actually a very hard matchup for me. But I'm here to ruin the American dream, and we're just going to see how it goes.
Like I said, Tomahawk UK, the antagonist of the story. But the dark type meta is actually interesting. Mandibuzz had a very high usage, but only 2 of them made it to day 2. It just doesn't line up well into so much of the top meta. We have Out of Pocket, Arrow, and Elam with the Galarian Moltres, but the most common flying type Pokemon was Talonflame. Let's take a look at our next match. Tomahawk UK, a content creator, commentator, and competitor. He knows the game like no one else. And he also knows the anti-meta game. Both him and his opponent Kelsey have Talonflame on their team. Now that Lantern, Skarmory, Registeel, and Bastiodon have been pushed out of the meta, there's hardly anything that resists flying type damage output. Combined with the slowest but strongest fast attack Incinerate, Talonflame with Brave Bird can threaten, flip, and win matchups that it normally wouldn't win. And Tomahawk UK is afraid of Kelsey for a reason. She has proven on day 1 that she is a master at using this Pokemon. The Pokemon Tomahawk UK really fears, however, is that Dugong. Dugong is a slow and bulky Ice type attacker, but it looks great into the current meta. It has good play into Clodsire, Feraligatr, Azumarill, Mandibuzz, and Superior. It also has an edge over the other top Ice type Pokemon, Alolan Sandslash, if they have the fast attack Power Snow, and they usually do have that in this meta. The matchup will be tough for both competitors, however. Tomahawk UK relies on his Azumarill Toxapex core, while Kelsey relies on her Dugong Clodsire core. It will be the 3rd Pokemon that has to break this match open. The match we look at is game number 2 in this set. Kelsey brought the Drapion in game number 1 and it didn't perform as she was hoping it would. Time for a new game plan. Talonflame enters the field. Tomahawk UK doesn't have Stone Edge on his Clodsire, so this Talonflame is a problem. He probably knows Kelsey has the Dugong in the back, so swapping into the Clodsire is hardly an option. He successfully catches the fly on his Clodsire, but Kelsey knows Clodsire is slow and the fast attack damage isn't threatening, so she farms up to 100 energy before swapping out and taking all this damage on the Dugong. Dugong can take all of this damage easily, and she even comes out with another Icy Wind, which means that Tomahawk UK cannot bring in the Pangoro again, otherwise he would have to give up his shield, which he doesn't want to. He swaps anyway after his Azumarill tanks the Duron, but Kelsey has Clodsire in the back. Even without Sludge Bomb, Clodsire is very good in this matchup. And with Kelsey banking energy all over the place, there's no way for Tomahawk to come back in this battle. We haven't seen Talonflame in a minute, but Tomahawk knows it's loaded with energy and it has been pressuring him for the entire game. And Kelsey ties up the score to 1-1. In the following game, Tomahawk gets not only the lead, but also the swap and he wanted. Pangoro gets to close combat in only 5 karate chops, which is 10 turns, and he throws it immediately. It takes out the Dugong in 1 attack. This sets up the alignment for Tomahawk UK, and he advances into the top 8 of Baltimore.
Thanks, guys. I'm here with Tomahawk UK, the winner of our second winners round of today. How do you feel about that match? I saw the Pangoro going crazy. Walk us a little bit through your mindset.
Honestly, those games were really hard. I think Dugong was really tough for my team. The Shadow Drapion's always scary as well. And Kelsey's a brilliant player. She played a similar team against Andrew Manyares yesterday, and she beat him. And especially after she lost game 1, she won game 2. It's exactly how it was going. Like my heart was just, pounding in my chest. And I was there locking in game 3. And I was like, Azumarill's pretty safe for me. I'm going to lead Azumarill. What do I put in the back? And my 3rd slot, I was like, what do I put in the back? And I was like, do you know what? She's going to say stop the Dugong, and I'm going to hard punish this with a Pangoro. Because Inadequates told me before this tournament that Pangoro is really bad and that if I use it, that I won't win. And I was like, well, now I have to bring it just to show him. It's an obligation. I just have to show Martine that Pangoro is the way.
It wasn't just sitting there.
Yeah, exactly. So, Shiny Pangoro, MVP.
But that's where his upper bracket run ends too. Elite, the West Coast King, uses the all shields on Feraligatr strategy and knocks Tomahawk UK down to the lower bracket. As day 2 continues, both Galarian Moltres lose in their first rounds. Arrow loses to a Dash on the upper bracket, and Out of Pocket is knocked out of the tournament by Bopper. The other Galarian Moltres, ran by Elam, won its matchup against Sceptilize, however. Sucker Punch is now the new counter, and it allows Galarian Moltres to farm down a Shadow Feraligatr in the 2-shield scenario. Core breaking Feraligatr and Superior Ilum found the perfect alignment for it in game 1 and 2. Ilum won 2-0, but Wadash won't have any of this Galarian Moltres nonsense in the next matchup and knocks Ilum down to the losers bracket afterwards. I wasn't planning on looking into the matchups of Septalize specifically, but I do want to give a shout out to his creative pick that is the Shadow Celio. Even though Body Slam was nerfed, it can still defeat Clodsire, Azumarill, Dugong and Mandibuzz. It has win conditions against Feraligatr and Talonflame and can fight back against Superior too. He was the only person to have brought this creative pick and he made it all the way to top 5 with it as well. Tomahawk UK is still surviving. He managed to defeat Septalize and his Shadow Celio and then advances into the losers semifinals where he will face off against Ilum. Tomahawk this time utilizes the Diggersby more. It double resists the Shadow Claw from Feraligatr, allowing it to win the 2 shields. It is even bulkier than Clodsire and can take a Hydro Cannon just as fine. Quick Attack is preferred over Mudshot now because it deals slightly more damage than Mudshot does while having the same energy generation. The normal typing isn't super effective into anything though. It makes Diggersby an excellent choice to deal with the Feraligatr and Clodsire core. However, it is not enough to take down Ilum. From this point on, Tomahawk UK and his partner Pangoro are out, and it's going to be the Feraligatr show. Elite was the one who knocked down Tomahawk UK to the losers bracket, and now he is up against Wadash in the winners finals. Wadash is a scary opponent. He hasn't competed in 7 months, and in the first tournament he plays again in the new season, he makes it to top 3 immediately. The West Coast King manages to take him down, and Elite moves on to the grand finals while Wadash has to take on Ilum now. Wadash defeated Ilum earlier in the tournament by 2-0, but this is a new round and a best of 5. Ilum manages to push the score to 2-1 in his favor, but Wadash has 2 Pokemon on his team that prove to be incredibly important for him this tournament, the Chestnut and the Alolan Sandslash. Chestnut is actually surprisingly good into the Galarian Moltres, resisting Sucker Punch's fast attack. It proves to be a huge problem for Ilum because he has Gastrodon in the back. Not only does Wadash have the Chestnut, he also has the Cresselia with Grass-type coverage. Ilum has nowhere to go with his Pokemon, and Wadash is in for a grudge match against Elite. The Grand Finals is looking to be over relatively quickly. Elite shows everyone that Feraligatr is absolutely busted and leads into a quick 2-0 lead. But then, Wadash finds the key and the alignment to victory. Dunsparce foils the plan of Elite. While the 0 shield is a very close win and the 1 shield is a loss, the 2 shield scenario is a pretty hard win and makes sure that the Feraligatr from Elite cannot run wild. Elite even start bringing the Machamp to try and counter it, but he fails to do so, and Wadash reverse sweeps the match. Now, the bracket reset. All of the top 3 players have Cresselia, a Pokemon not many players have brought now. It actually still looks quite good into the meta. Many teams have 1 or no answer to Cresselia, and it has good play into Clodsire, Feraligatr, Dunsparce, Azumarill, Dugong, Machamp, and Superior. Wadash only really has the Alolan Sandslash, and he needs to align it well. In Game 4 of the bracket reset, all hope seems lost for Wadash, as we see the leads. The Dunsparce is lined up to the Machamp, but the lead makes a misplay. He swaps in his own Cresselia on an energy disadvantage, and he loses switch advantage. He doesn't want to use shields, those are for Feraligatr only. Wadash manages to flip the switch advantage, and in the final game, Elite tries out the Mandibuzz to surprise the Cresselia of Wadash. The Mandibuzz looks good, but Elite gives up switch advantage. He tries to bait out Alolan Sandslash with the Cresselia, but there's no way Wadash would lead Dunsparce with Alolan Sandslash in the back. Wadash is able to realign, and he wins the Baltimore Championship. It's crazy how someone who hardly played for 7 months comes back playing a tournament real quick and just wins it. Up until the Grand Finals, Elite made everyone scared of Feraligatr. But Wadash shows everyone that the Pokemon is okay to deal with even in the hands of a good player. This is the lesson we take from Baltimore. And this is only the beginning. The next championships take place in Joinville, Brazil, and in Dortmund in Germany. And I will actually be commentating the event in Dortmund, so make sure you check out that stream on the broadcast on Twitch or YouTube. Hope you liked the video, and see you in the next one.
Okay, Martijn, I know you don't have Instagram, so this is a vlog for you. And I know that at every event that I go to, we recruit a new person for Tea and Pizza. And I've actually got a couple of recruits for Tea and Pizza now, so I just wanted to share all of our new Tea and Pizza recruits. Guys, don't we all just love Tea and Pizza, right?
In my time.
So, yeah.
I started over there.
Yeah, we have a lot of new Tea and Pizza just for you.